did you find me?
Oh, who's this?
Mom, you have a son?
John, Corny, send him and right now.
You bring me my wife. You kill John Mahler.
You're in trouble now.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 action film Weekend in Taipei. The film is co-written and directed by George Huang and it stars Luke Evans and Sung Kang. Now the film focuses on Evans' character, Agent John Lawler, who is an undercover DEA agent. He has been on the trail of a drug kingpin called Kwang, played by Sung Kang. He's been trying to take him down for 15 years and he's got an opportunity. Somebody's got in touch and said they've got some incriminating documents that will put him behind bars for a long time. So he heads out to Taipei for the weekend in order to pick up these documents. While there, he has an encounter with his ex and her young son, who are seeking help getting away from Kwang. It turns out this is an old flame of Evans, and the young child turns out to be his son that he never knew he had. It then turns into a fight for survival in order for them to get the information they need and get out of Taipei in one piece. Right, what are my thoughts on Weekend in Taipei? Luke Evans, generally speaking, is pretty good in movies like this. He always generally delivers, is an excellent action lead for the most part. And this film is no exception. He is definitely a strong point in this film, very entertaining to watch. He handles the action scenes very well indeed. Always has. He's always convincing in movies like this, and he's always convincing generally, depending on the who's choreographing it and who's directing the movies. He's generally pretty damn good in these type of films. And I found the film generally to be quite entertaining. Now, it doesn't elevate itself beyond just being a good watch, unfortunately, the storyline is nothing you haven't seen before. Agent with an old flame, a son he never knew he had, trying to take down this drug lord sort of thing. So it's something we've all seen before many, many times, but it is undeniably quite watchable and entertaining. Much of that, I think, is down to the well-crafted action scenes. I think they work really well here. It feels quite accessible to watch. It's not laden down with long scenes of unnecessary dialogue and, characters gazing into each other's eyes or any of that sort of thing. It's made to kind of keep the pace going, keep you entertained, keep you watching, and to keep the plot moving along. Sung Kang, who you'll recognise here from the Fast and the Furious franchise, plays the main villain here, and he does it quite well. When he needs to be, he's vicious and a real badass, and there are also times when you believe when he's trying to be tender, and you really do believe that he is got real feelings for this woman, this ex of Luke Evans' character, who he's been married to for like 14 years. You believe that. You believe that it's painful to him what's happening, sort of thing, but you also believe that he'll do anything it takes to remove himself from incrimination and threat of going to jail and all that kind of stuff, and he will go to any lengths to do that. So it's kind of a nicely balanced performance by him. It is an interesting villain. He's not just, sometimes in movies like this, the villains are just overly pantomime, over the top, vicious, or, just nasty for no reason, and that's not really the case here with his. I enjoyed his performance as the villain here. As well, the young son, Wyatt Yang plays Raymond, the young son, who is the long-lost son of Luke Evans' character, does really, really well. And the actress that plays Luke Evans' ex here as well does very, very well. She is a former low-level criminal who that's how they first met, if you like, Luke Evans and her character. He was a DEA agent undercover years previously, and that's how they met. She was like a runner for the drug company, for the drug empire sort of thing, because she was a really, really fast driver, really good at driving. She pulls that role off quite well. There's a little bit of Fast and Furious stuff going on here. There's a couple of pretty cool driving sequences that are very, very well done. I mean, and that's what kept surprising me here. Sometimes you can watch these type of movies and they've got a recognizable face in it, but the action is like really poorly done, or it's just not very exciting to watch, and it's not slick, it's not crisp, it's not well choreographed. And I can't honestly say that about any of the action scenes in this film. I thought they were all done very, very well. The driving stuff's done very, very well, and it almost feels like it's pulled directly from a Fast and the Furious film. The hand-to-hand stuff's done really well, and the shootouts are done really, really well. And you know, you do actually feel genuinely concerned about these characters that are being like chased all over Taipei by these gangsters, sort of thing. The relationships are all done well. You know, him meeting up with his ex all these years later, finding out he's got a son. Sometimes that kind of stuff can weigh a film down. It gets overly sentimental, and it doesn't really do that here. It leans actually more into humour than actual, over sentimentality sort of thing, which for me can kill an action film if they start doing like that. I mean, yes, obviously there is a romance to be rekindled here between Luke Evans and his ex, but again, they don't overly focus on that. You know it's going to happen, and it just feels like it naturally happens in the film. So I think this is well made, watchable, with great action scenes here and there, with a strong lead, certainly in Luke Evans and Sung Kang, but I think everybody kind of delivers here. This surprised me a bit because I expected it to be but one of these like 4.5 out of 10 type films or something like that, and it's not. It's above average, this film. It'll definitely hold your attention, but like I said, these days you've got to do something a little bit different to kind of really elevate yourself in like an action film these days. You've got to twist it around a bit and subvert expectations and deliver different things, and it doesn't really. You could argue it's really quite predictable and fairly generic at times. It's just well done, so it doesn't make it a chore to watch, certainly in my opinion. But it's also one that once you've watched it, you won't necessarily be overly thoughtful about it. You won't be thinking about it so much afterwards. It won't stay with you or anything like that. It's not that kind of film. But I enjoyed, for the most part, my time with it. It's one that I can recommend if it sounds appealing to you guys. If it doesn't, then give it a miss, and you're not missing a great deal, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Weekend in Taipei. Let me know what your thoughts are if you've seen the film, and don't forget to call back on the channel for plenty more reviews and content very, very soon.